My name is Andrew Nyes. I'm 28 years old, and I am the training director at a tech support company here in Palm Beach County. My clean date is April 11th, 2011. I began drinking and smoking at a young age, probably when I was about 16, and I continued to experiment with other drugs and alcohol throughout my early 20s. Basically, when my addiction really took off, or it really took a turn for the worse, is when I experienced the freedom at college. It was a mixture of alcohol, drugs, and all kinds of stuff put together. Soon after I made some wrong choices in college, I got actually kicked out of the school, moved back to where I grew up, and once I had experienced that, I had really felt like almost like my future and my life had taken a turn for the worse because I messed up, school. I messed up my education. So once that happened, I found a drug that, kind of took away the feelings and took away the emotions that I was feeling at that point in time in my life. And that's when it really took a turn for the worse at that point. So, once I went back home from school and, continued to use drugs and alcohol, that was when I really, for me, that's when I would say I hit my bottom. The first time I went through treatment, it was a broad demographic of people. I felt like I didn't really, belong or fit in there, and at that point in time, I didn't think that I had a problem. The second time I went, I actually spent about 3 weeks there, and I was really able to kind of reflect on what was going on. At that point in time, I realized, that I definitely had a problem, but I don't think that I was ready to stop. I knew that I had a problem, but I didn't think that I was ready to stop. Before I went to treatment the third time, I actually had a near-death experience, and that near-death experience was the kind of, turning point for me to be like, wow, if I continue to do this and continue to stay on the path that I'm at, path that I'm going, it's kind of a life or death scenario. So I feel like if I had found a place like ARN in my early recovery or my early stages trying to find the right place, it definitely would have helped me in my early recovery as far as, staying clean. It really all depends on the person and the scenario and, what they're using and, how long they've been using. So there are a wide variety of different, questions that I needed to ask myself when I, went into treatment. And I feel like, if I had the proper guidance or if I had, the right people to help me find the right place, then I might have been able to make better choices at that point in time. When you find that one entity outside of yourself that makes you feel the way you feel when you use drugs and alcohol, then you kind of cling on to it, and it doesn't really make a difference, what you look like, who you are, what your job is. With the treatment centers, there is definitely an individualized approach to that. There are certain times, places, certain surroundings that may have a bearing on your recovery or how well you pick it up, I guess you could say. And ultimately, it's all about where you're at. It's all about who's there helping you. It's all about your attitude while you're in there. And that can change depending upon, where you are. My advice for people, suffering from the disease of addiction is just know that you're not alone. There are other people who feel the way you feel. And that there is a way out, there is hope for you to get better and for you to change your life, but it all starts with you making that one choice, that one phone call, that one decision can change, your entire life.